In this video, I'm going to do examples of adding or subtracting polynomials. So looking at number one, it says I have 4x to the third minus 2x squared plus 7 plus negative 3x to the third plus 4x squared minus x plus 3. Now, whenever you're adding polynomials together, okay, what we're looking to do is we're looking to combine like terms. What I mean by like terms is the variables and the exponents have to be the same. So notice in this first term, I have 4x to the third. And what I do is I look to see, do I have any other x to the thirds? Well, here I have minus 3x to the third. Well, if I have 4 of them and I add negative 3 of them, overall, I just have 1 x to the third. Okay, because 4 minus the 3 additional ones gives me 1. Then I look at the next one. I have negative 2x squared, and I'm adding 4x squared. Well, if I take negative 2 and I add 4 of them, I now have 2x squared. Then I notice I have a negative x here. I have no other x's, so I just jot that one down. I just have negative x. And then if I take 7 and I add 3, I get 10. None of these are like terms. Okay, this one's to the third, that one's to the second, this is to the first, and this one doesn't have an x. So this is my final answer. All right, let's look at number two. In number two here, we're subtracting. Now, the difference between adding and subtracting is one extra step. Whenever you subtract a polynomial from another polynomial, we're really subtracting each of these terms from the polynomial before it. So if I subtract x squared, I really get a negative x squared. And if I subtract a negative 5x, well, when you subtract a negative, that's really a positive 5x. And when you subtract a positive 5, that's really like subtracting 5, minusing 5 away. So I can just simply distribute the negative, drop the first polynomial down, and then combine like terms. Well, if I have 3x squared and I take away 1x squared, I'm going to be left with 2x squared. If I have negative 5x and I add 5x, well, those will cancel out, leaving me with 0 x's. And then if I have 2 minus 5, I get negative 3. Now, this 0x, 0 times anything is just 0, so we actually don't even need to write this. We can write our answer as 2x squared minus 3. All right, let's look at one last example here. Let's skip down to a little bit more challenging of a problem. Let's look at number 5. So in number 5, you'll notice I have two different variables. I have an x and a y, okay? So it's important to remember that like terms will have not only the same variables, but the same powers on each of those variables. And we need to notice we're subtracting. So anytime I subtract two polynomials, my first step is to distribute the negative to every single term. Now, when I distribute that negative, what it's really doing is it's just switching the signs of each of these terms. So my positive 3x will now be negative 3x. My positive 2y will now be negative 2y. My negative 5xy will now be positive 5xy. My negative 9 will be positive 9x squared y. And the last one will be negative 5xy squared. This first polynomial just drops down. So we have 4xy minus 2x squared y plus 3x minus 4y. Now, we need to combine the ones that are like terms. So they need to have the same variables with the same degrees. So my first term is 4xy. So I scan to see where I have any other xy's. Oh, here, I have 5xy. So if I take 4xy plus 5xy, I'm going to have 9xy's. Then I have negative 2x squared y. Okay, so I want to find where do I have any other x squared y's. Well, here I see I have 9 of them. So if I take negative 2 plus 9, I get 7x squared y. Here I have 3x, but I'm subtracting 3x, so those will cancel. They'll cancel out completely. They're gone. And then I have negative 4y minus 2y, which is negative 6y. And then lastly, I have negative 5xy squared. none others, so then I am finished. Okay, so anytime you're subtracting, distribute the negative, it changes the signs, and then combine the like terms.